Dr. Patricia Meyer, public speaking class, and I'm evaluating the film The Help. DreamWorks Productions' 2011 Oscar-nominated movie The Help originates from Catherine Stockton 2009 novel and takes place in the 1960s in Jackson, Mississippi, and is told through the eyes of Skeeter, a young white aspiring reporter played by Emma Stone. Another main character was Abilene, a black maid who compassionately raised and loved the daughter of the white family she worked for, instilling in her the words of self-confidence. You is kind, you is smart, you is important. In my opinion, the best part of The Help is when a maid, Minnie, got revenge on one of the villains, Miss Hilly, by playing a prank and baking one of her famous chocolate pies with feces in it. The maid literally said, "Eat my shit," which was unheard of for a black woman to speak to a white woman like that in those days. The fact that Hilly ate the tainted pie began as a well-kept secret in blackmail, but eventually, with the release of the book, some locals inferred from the story she was the laughingstock of the town. It was a turning point because Minnie began to stand up for herself at work and at home with her abusive husband. She gained a new job with another outcast of the white society who treated her like a friend instead of an employer. The main character is Skeeter, a young white aspiring writer who is working to find a job at the local paper following graduation from college. Skeeter is only in her 20s, has experienced life outside her small southern hometown, and has become a social outcast from the other white, young, affluent women in her age group. Through observation and interviews with black domestic help in Jackson, she becomes sympathetic to their struggles. She writes a novel under the name Anonymous to protect herself and those who told her stories. In an effort to bring attention to the poor treatment of blacks in the South, by the end, Skeeter is more compassionate and even friendly to those who told her stories, and has also earned herself a new position by a large publishing company in New York. The main character learns in great detail the horrific treatment blacks have received over the years, from being demeaned to being falsely accused of stealing, beaten by police, and even being left to die while on the job at a wood mill. When Skeeter investigates her family's history to include her own story in the book, she learned the harsh reality of what happened to her beloved maid, Constantine. The love she had for her maid, Constantine, who helped raise her, was very similar to Abilene's relationship with Mae Mobley, baby girl of the white family she was helping to raise. The book Skeeter was writing at the time was aimed towards a national audience, likely Northerners who may have a sympathetic ear and an ability to make a change. The movie itself was filmed in 2011 and was a flashback to the 1960s. The main struggle of the film is human versus human and involves racial discrimination. The struggles of the black men and women in the 1960s versus the oppression from whites. The Jim Crow laws of separate but equal, such as outside bathrooms for the help, and the need of white affluent families being tended to by black maids and nannies. The struggle, of course, involved racial inequality and discrimination, but eventually turns into internal battles where some characters struggle with their own beliefs about these issues. The film shows the struggle in society between black and whites, but also within classes of the same race. It shows how hard it is for some to be independent thinkers and go against the norm. Many of the white women resolve conflict through competing and accommodating, going with the flow, and the majority rule of the junior league woman. Skeeter helped resolve societal conflict through collaboration with the black maids, helping them tell their stories to the world and receiving compensation in return. The movie was filmed as if it was taking place in the 1960s, so all of the cars, architecture, and clothes were from that time period. The white families had beautiful middle-class or large plantation-style homes, expensive cars, jewelry, and very nice apparel for both everyday clothing and formal events. Blacks had barely their basic needs taken care of, very small basic homes to live in, children shared bedrooms, were made uniforms, and were living in poverty. The cinematography was very good and brought the viewer back in time as if they were living there during that time. It really helped bring the story to life. While there are many movies about the civil rights era and about discrimination, this movie was significant because it was the first time a movie showed perspective from both sides. It is a time period or historical drama that deals with common racial struggles but evokes emotion from the viewers because it details the personal lives of the characters and connects both sides by allowing one to see the other side. I recommend The Help because it is a very informational and eye-opening film. The movie shows evolution from older generations of legalized discrimination and how a few instances of change through people such as Skeeter begins the process of an integrated society. Skeeter helped effect the change of her mother through her example of being a strong woman and an independent thinker. She didn't just go with the flow and stood up for others in her own way.